The eternal heart of Europe, the Alps. High above the valleys of Europe, where clouds scrape against stone and light fractures into snow and ice, rise the Alps, a realm suspended between earth and sky. Stretching for more than 1,200 kilometers across 8 nations, France, Monaco, Italy, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Germany, Austria, and Slovenia, this monumental chain forms the spinal cord of Europe. The peaks here pierce the heavens, with Mont Blanc, the highest, reaching 4,808 meters. Yet, beneath the glittering crowns of snow, the Alps are not merely mountains, they are a living, breathing organism, sculpted by time, ice, and the pulse of life. A landscape forged by titans. The Alps are ancient, born nearly 65 million years ago when the African and Eurasian tectonic plates collided. The force of this encounter folded the Earth's crust like a crumpled sheet of paper, raising a jagged fortress that would one day shape the destiny of Europe. Over millennia, glaciers carved deep valleys, sculpted lakes, and polished peaks into the dramatic architecture we see today. Even now, the landscape never sleeps. Glaciers like the ALPS, the largest in the Alps, creep slowly downhill, moving a few centimeters each day, silent rivers of ice grinding stone into dust. Beneath them, the mountains continue to groan and shift, as if remembering the violence of their birth. A human thread through stone. For at least 5,000 years, humans have been drawn to these slopes. Archaeologists uncovered the mummified body of Otzi the Iceman, a Bronze Age traveler frozen into history on the border of Austria and Italy around 3300 BCE, the earliest known inhabitant of these heights. Later, the Romans crossed the Alps to expand their empire, carving routes like the Great St. Bernard Pass, still in use today. Medieval monks built stone monasteries along perilous paths, while shepherds and traders braved avalanches and blizzards to connect isolated valleys. Villages became towns, then cities like Innsbruck, Geneva, and Turin, each reflecting a different cultural flavor, Germanic precision in the north, Latin warmth in the south. Across the centuries, the Alps remained both a barrier and a bridge, dividing nations yet uniting them through a shared spirit of endurance. A vertical world of life. Today, the Alps are home to over 13,000 plant species and 30,000 animal species, one of the richest ecosystems in Europe. Rising from foothill meadows to icy summits, each vertical step hosts a new world. At lower altitudes, oak, chestnut, and beech forests give way to spruce, larch, and fir, their needles whispering in the wind. Higher still, the tree line fades into alpine grasslands dotted with wildflowers, edelweiss, gentian, and alpine rose, plants built for thin air and brutal cold. Some trap sunlight with hairy leaves, others turn deep blue to block ultraviolet radiation. Far above, near the snow line, life grows miniature, lichens and mosses painting the rocks in hues of green and orange, surviving where soil no longer exists. Each organism is a lesson in adaptation, each form of life a masterpiece carved by hardship. Survival on the edge. Life in the Alps is not about abundance, it's about endurance. For animals here, survival means efficiency. The alpine ibex, a symbol of the high mountains, scales sheer cliffs where no predator dares follow. Its hooves, part hard horn, part flexible cushion, act like natural climbing gear, gripping the smallest cracks. During winter, it lowers its metabolism and lives off stored fat, surviving days without feeding. The chamois, more delicate but faster, migrates vertically, descending into valleys during the long snows and racing back to the heights in spring. Its muscles are adapted for explosive jumps, allowing it to escape danger in an instant. Even smaller creatures show extraordinary resilience. Snow voles tunnel beneath the snowpack to find warmth, while alpine marmots hibernate for up to 7 months, lowering their heartbeats to 2 per minute and body temperature to just above freezing. And then there are the birds of the peaks. The golden eagle, monarch of the sky, commands a territory of hundreds of square kilometers. It rides thermals above the cliffs, its vision 8 times sharper than a human's. Its rival, the bearded vulture, is a scavenger with a unique taste. It feeds almost entirely on bones, dropping them from great heights to shatter them open for the marrow inside. The long white silence. When winter arrives, it conquers without mercy. Snow buries the valleys, ice locks the rivers, and temperatures plunge below -30 degrees Celsius. For many animals, this is the season of stillness, a frozen pause in life's rhythm. The mountain fox grows a thicker coat, curling up with its tail wrapped around its face to conserve heat. The ptarmigan, a bird of camouflage, sheds its brown feathers for pure white plumage, vanishing into the snow. Beneath the drifts, life continues unseen, beetles, spiders, and mice eking out existence in small pockets of warmth. Predators follow the desperate. Eagles patrol the slopes for movement, their shadows sweeping over the snow. The carcasses of the fallen, ibex, hare, or chamois, feed the mountain scavengers, recycling death into life once more. The thaw and the rebirth. When the first drops of meltwater begin to flow, the Alps awaken in a surge of sound and motion. Streams roar, avalanches thunder, and the meadows burst into color. Mating rituals fill the air. Male chamois duel with curved horns on dizzying slopes, while black grouse perform their elaborate courtship dances in mountain clearings, their strange bubbling calls echoing through the mist. In the rocky ledges, eagles renew their lifelong bond, rebuilding their nests from the branches that winter left behind. Beneath them, ibex kids take their first trembling steps, learning to balance on sheer cliffs just days after birth. Each summer brings a brief, frenzied rush of life, flowers bloom, insects hum, and the valleys fill with the bells of grazing cattle. For centuries, alpine farmers have followed this rhythm, moving their herds uphill to summer pastures, a tradition known as transhumance. Their cheese, Gruyère, Comte, Fontina, carries the taste of mountain herbs and the history of generations. The changing face of the Alps. But the Alps are changing. They are warming at twice the global average. Glaciers that once defined entire valleys are shrinking by meters every year. The Aletsch Glacier alone has retreated more than 3 kilometers in the last century. As the ice vanishes, it leaves behind unstable rock and new lakes, sometimes bursting without warning. Ancient villages face landslides and floods. Alpine species climb higher, but soon there will be nowhere left to go. The ibex may survive, but the tiny snow vole, the cold-loving mosses, and the glaciers themselves, they are already retreating into memory. Scientists warn that if the trend continues, most alpine glaciers could disappear by 2100. And with them, the water supply for millions of people downstream, for the Rhone, and Danube rivers that begin as drops of snow here in the high peaks. The spirit that endures. Still, the Alps endure, as they always have. Even as the ice melts and the forests climb higher, the mountains remind us of something eternal. They are not just a collection of peaks, they are a library of time, holding the story of Earth's past, present, and possible future. Every gust of wind that sweeps across these ridges carries echoes of history, the footsteps of Roman legions, the songs of shepherds, the calls of eagles. The same valleys that once froze Otzi now host bustling towns and ski resorts, yet just beyond the slopes of civilization lies a wild silence that humans can never quite conquer. The Alps remain the wild heart of Europe, both fragile and immortal. They challenge us, humble us, and remind us that life, in all its forms, is never static. It endures, adapts, and climbs ever higher.